Most people think mixing is just adding EQ, compressor, and reverb. But the truth is, creative mixing is what makes your song stand out. And today I'm going to show you 4 real life examples of mixes where I've done creative mix techniques that has made the song sound exciting and memorable. I'm Florina Jain, otherwise known as Flow of Music. I'm a mix mastering engineer and I help artists make their music sound professional even in their home studios. Let's go to section 1. Before,
ਲੀਗਲ ਸ਼ਿਟ ਫਿਰ ਰੈਪ ਕਰਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਲੀਥਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਿਲ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਜਿੱਤ ਲਿਆ ਹੁਣ ਲੈਣੀ ਸੋਹਣੀਏ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਜਿੱਤ ਸੀਨ 8 ਸਿਲੰਡਰ ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਤਨ ਲੱਡਾਖ ਵਿੱਚ
after,
ਲੀਗਲ ਸ਼ਿਟ ਫਿਰ ਰੈਪ ਕਰਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਲੀਥਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਿਲ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਜਿੱਤ ਲਿਆ ਹੁਣ ਲੈਣੀ ਸੋਹਣੀਏ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਜਿੱਤ ਸੀਨ 8 ਸਿਲੰਡਰ ਚ
so in context with the song,
ਲੀਗਲ ਸ਼ਿਟ ਫਿਰ ਰੈਪ ਕਰਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਲੀਥਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਿਲ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਜਿੱਤ ਲਿਆ ਹੁਣ ਲੈਣੀ ਸੋਹਣੀਏ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਜਿੱਤ ਸੀ
there was a clear difference before and after, right? Now that's the magic of pedal board. Now we usually tend to correlate pedal board with guitars because they connect to amplifiers and you have a pedal board to change the tones. You use it for electric guitars, acoustic guitars and all that. But here's a way by which you can make the vocal sound interesting based on the genre. Pedal board is something that you have as a stock plugin in Logic Pro. So when you actually hover over to amps and pedals, you have pedal board. Now within this, you have these vintage kind of pitch corrected settings that can make another octave pop up in your vocals. For example, this is a rap song and I want to have a lot of energy to it, more growl to it, more focus on the vocals actually because it needs to like pump through the mix, right? Now, if I just let it be this way,
ਲੀਗਲ ਸ਼ਿਟ ਫਿਰ ਰੈਪ ਕਰਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਲੀਥਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਿਲ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਜਿੱਤ ਲਿਆ ਹੁਣ ਲੈਣੀ ਸੋਹਣੀਏ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਜਿੱਤ
it's fine, there's nothing to complain, but when you turn this on,
ਲੀਗਲ ਸ਼ਿਟ ਫਿਰ ਰੈਪ ਕਰਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਲੀਥਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਿਲ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਜਿੱਤ
there's a lower octave added, right? Now, this is actually kind of like a production decision too. And how I did that is actually went down to pitch and then I added subtle octave, which actually gives me another lower octave. So let's push it and see.
ਲੀਗਲ ਸ਼ਿਟ ਫਿਰ ਰੈਪ ਕਰਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਲੀਥਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਿਲ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਜਿੱਤ ਲਿਆ ਹੁਣ ਲੈਣੀ ਸੋਹਣੀਏ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਜਿੱਤ ਸੀਨ 8 ਸਿਲੰਡਰ ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਤਨ ਲੱਡਾ
Now it is like really prominent, right? It sounded okay without the pedal board and it'll sound fine when you play it with the track, but then I felt like it lacked that punch and that confidence that the vocal needed. And so when I added this, immediately the track was able to like stand out of the mix and it sounded different. Anybody can do a normal mix, but this adding another octave to the actual vocal but in a very gentle manner elevated the rap song and made it sound more professional. So before we move to the next section, if you have a song and you're looking for a mix engineer, don't forget to send me an email with your song, the genre and the number of stems and I'll be happy to mix your songs. We have another track over here. Let's listen to the before and after. This is without. After. And now let's listen in context with the song. You're hearing that flutter on the flute. That's a magic that I brought out with Chorus plugin. Again, another creative way to enhance the flute. Now, without this, it just sounded fine. It was all right. But the issue is that it's also in the center, like every other track. Like I have all these other flutes which are also in the center. And there's this karaoke track which is all right, but then how can I give variations on the recorded tracks? Because everything is in the center and if I put this also in the center, it's just going to sound plain and monotonous and okayish, which is not what I want the mix to sound like. I want it to sound extraordinary. I want it to be creative. And so what I did was added a chorus plugin, which is a stock plugin you find in modulation. I added this preset mega white chorus and pushed the mix to the maximum. Normally, if you see my other videos, I don't do this. I either keep it halfway or a little lesser than that. But this time I pushed it high because I want that flutter flute to sound like there are so many layers to it and also to sound like it's on my left and right side and not in the center. That's my objective. So that's where the mix got spiced up. So this is before, after. Now it instantly feels, like it's pushed behind. It's on the left and right rather than the center. So the center is all available for the lead flute and the harmony flute, whereas this is taking up the back space. Another way to just to push your mixes to the next level. By the way, whatever songs I'm showing you, I'm linking the respective links in the description as well. Go ahead and listen to the full songs. Now let's listen to another project for which I just got the lead vocal and the guitars. This is what originally it sounded like.
You won't never be with me.
But after,
You won't never be with me.
that harmony that you hear and that spread that you hear was programmed, okay? Like I made that harmony. She didn't sing that. Now, how do you do that? That's again a creative way of doing it. So there is this plugin from Waves called as Waves Harmony that lets you harmonize the lead vocal. And then I kept +3. And if you see on the track, there are just certain sections where I've placed the harmony. So this is how the harmony sounds
You
like.
won't never be with me.
And that came through this. Otherwise, it just sounded plain.
You won't never be.
But
You
with
won't
this,
never be.
it sounds more lively, right? Then after that, I also wanted some elements again more on the left and right because you have lead vocal in the center, guitars in the center, harmony in the center. But there's nothing interesting on the left and right going on, right? So then I duplicated another track and then I added delay on the actual channel strip itself. I made it spread also. So this is how I did it. I added a spread plugin underneath this. All the plugins that I'm showing you right now are actually stock plugins except for the Waves Harmony that I showed. This makes sure that my track is like totally spread apart. So let's listen and see. This is without.
You won't never be.
But with.
You won't never be with me.
So I'll probably turn off the harmony so that you hear the spread alone.
You won't never be.
So this is what we are listening to.
Never be with me.
So there's a tiny delay and also it's majorly behind in the left and right, whereas all the other instruments and all the other tracks are in the center, creating more space and more interesting flavors. You can do this as a mix engineer. Of course, the client has to like it. It should sound musically right. You have that liberty to take that mixes to the next level. And these are some ways by which you can do it. Before we go to the next section, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet but have seen a lot of videos and learned something new, please do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe, share it with your music producer friends. So the last section that we're going to see is where I actually made a robotic kind of sound, very similar to how Taylor Swift does in her music. Not similar, exactly like how Taylor Swift has done on her music video, Delicate. Now this is her original track.
This ain't for the.
Okay, but then we have some copyright issues when I use this, so I'm going to tell you about the plugin first. If you actually go and listen to Taylor Swift's Delicate music, you will notice that her starting intro, her vocals has a robotic feel to it. It's not like they've recorded it that way. There is a mix, or rather I would say a sound design concept into it. So basically, there's this plugin called Evoc in Logic. So you just create a new instrument track and then load Evoc 20 PS vocoder synth, okay? Just put that in, and basically what you're going to do is just play the same chords with which she sings, okay? But then you're going to play it whenever, obviously, the singing comes. But before that, just make sure you sidechain it. So that's why if you see, I've gone to sidechain and I've chosen under audio. This is what I've selected because that's this vocal track, okay? And you're basically going to play the chords that she does. So let me show you an example of how it sounds. You know how Delicate sounds. If not, just listen to the track, okay? And I made that happen here. So this is what it sounds like.
This ain't for the best.
That robotic sound. I'm going to link a shorts video over here so that you're going to listen to the full effect of how that sounds like. But this is a very creative method that you can use. I'm going to show you another section.
But you can make me.
But here.
But you can make me drink.
So that robotic effect that you hear, that's a very creative mix. You can call it as part of mixing or as part of sound designing, however you want, you can call it. But it does sound different, right? Imagine you want to give that sound within a song in one section alone. So it sounds unique. It's not like the same thing is going to be sung over and over again for 3 minutes. You have a different element there, and that makes the listener's ears pop up. That's my favorite thing to do in client mixes. Anytime I get a client project, I always think, how can I creatively mix this and make it sound a little exciting and a little memorable for the listener? So when they listen to the song, they'll be like, oh, I did it this way, but then the mix changed it like this, or she did it like this, and then she added this plugin, and that's how that effect comes in. That's what I want the song to be remembered as. These are the 4 methods that I wanted to share with you. There are so many different creative ways of doing it, but these 4 are my probably the most favorite things that I've done so far. Now it's up to you. You know certain plugins, now try to use them in a very creative way, in a way where normally people don't use it, but how can you incorporate it and make sound creative? That's up to you, and that's how you make the mixes sound memorable. So if you learned something new in this video, don't forget to comment, share it with your mix engineer friends. This is Florina Jane, and I'll see you guys in another video.